Hey, Dougie Bird here from Burts Tackle World. We're here to talk to you about the inshore fishery at the moment on the Gold Coast. It's the jumping pin, through the Broadwater, down south, and then along the beaches as well. I think we'll start at the beaches because this weekend's obviously a write-off with the weather in the swell size. So maybe off the sand pump and jetty, you might get a few fish. Speaking to a couple of lads today, and they said that the fishing there's been not too bad. There's been the odd tuna there actually, and the odd kingy, believe it or not, long-tailed tuna and the odd kingy as well. I think they're chasing the garfish. There's been a few garfish around the pump and jetty. There's been obviously heaps of yakkers, but there's been quite a few garfish. So they love feeding on the garfish, and that's the time of the year that we get them over the next 2 months off the sand pump and jetty before they come around into the Broadwater. So yeah, that might be worth a go. But that's about the only place on the beach you could fish in 2.5 metre swell at the moment, and the sweep would be like just crazy at the moment. Too much run on the beach in the current. So we'll move inside this weekend. Low tide tomorrow about 7 a.m. on Saturday and about 8 on Sunday, which means really good fishing in the seaway. That last 2 hours of run out, one of my favourite times to fish, for dewies especially. Problem is we can't go ashore and get live bait because the swell's too big. So what do? We will then go to catch pike. And with pike you need little lures, and you need to cast them and troll them around the weed beds on the sandbanks or around wave break, south side and north side of wave break, those banks as well. And catch a pike and then go back out the seaway. 2 hooks, 1 hook in the back, 1 hook in the mouth. Decent size of lead, 40-pound leader at least. And drop it down and try and drift with your baits pretty well vertical with you, if that makes sense. You don't get caught on the bottom. And the bite period will be definitely that last 2 hours of the run out, maybe the first hour of the run in, but definitely the last 2 hours. You'll probably get bycatch there, like big, really good jacks, maybe 60 centimetre plus, 70 even. And probably the odd snapper, even if the swell's up. You might get snapper in the Broadwater and seaway as well. You give that a shot. Otherwise, all the usuals. Heaps of bream around the seaway. The odd trevally. There is probably going to be a few flatties starting to show up along the inside of the north wall there. Give that a shot if you want. And yeah, it's probably about it for the seaway. Back away break. It may be worth starting to look for garfish, but definitely whiting. A few whiting around at the moment, and a few whiting up around Crab Island. There's been the odd parrotfish starting to show up on the east and western side of Crab Island there in the channel, just drifting. And talking about that, the little ZX lures have finally arrived. These fellows here, these bad boys, just smack all your flatties and anything actually on the bottom, just drifting the whole Broadwater, the whole seaway, everywhere. They just work incredible. Probably nearly a survival lure if you had to pick up one lure out of this whole shop, and there's tens of thousands of lures here. That would be one of them actually. They just work that good. So again, can't fish offshore this weekend. So if you're in offshore fishing and you want to try estuary, get yourself a couple of those and just drift the channels and just hop them really slowly and just use light gear, like sort of anything from 3 kilo through to about 8 kilo braid, and they work really well. The other thing that's been working really well is jacks up in the canal system. So the jacks have been really good. The weather's still been fairly humid, even though it's cooled down a bit, but the water temperature is really hot, folks. It's like 28, 29 degrees in the canals at the moment. So they're loving that, and they're aggressive, they're hungry, and they're on the prowl for food. So the amount of jacks caught is just crazy. One of the jack lures that's been doing really well are these 360 search baits, these fellows here, which are a little prawn in an array of different colours. There's like heaps of different colours. But these guys here, just flick them up along the edges of pontoons, around rocks, retaining walls, and bridges, and use it either with a weighted weeder's hook or a jig head, and just slowly hop it back towards you. But slow wind if you're going to cast it on pontoons, don't hit the bottom, just slow wind. So it depends which area you're fishing. But they've been catching a lot of jacks, heaps of jacks. You also get bycatcher cod, trevally, and of course bream, heaps of bream around, and the odd flatty. Yeah, so give them a go. Other than that, at the Nerang River, there's been a few whiting being caught around the council chambers. and that's been pretty good, but mainly at night time. But the tides this weekend are a bit not the best, so maybe you might get a few whiting, but you won't get them like you will next week on the high tide, sort of just on dark or daylight. Jumping pin area, I've heard of a few tailor, even though the water's been fairly dirty for the rain coming out of the Logan and that, but there's still tailor on that sort of northeastern corner of Crusoe Island, and casting lures and trolling little deep diving lures and metals. If you see birds diving, casting metals been working really good as well. There will be dewies in the jump in bar area, but just be very careful with the bar this weekend and the swell and the run out tide. I would definitely try for brim around Crusoe, and maybe for flatties as well around Crusoe and Clinker Bank. Crab wise, the muddies have been really good. Oh my gosh, so many mud crabs everywhere. So Logan River, very good. All the creeks around Jacobs Well area, definitely Pimpamar, and definitely in the Coomera around Santa Barbara, and definitely maybe head down further around sort of Coombar Lakes. That's been really good as well. Just obviously not at the green zone though, outside the green zone. Went there last weekend, and was the most crabs I've seen in a long time. We got nine big bucks, no Jenny, no undersize in one pot. I haven't done that on the Gold Coast, I think, in my life, maybe. So it's a great thing to see, a great fishery happening at the moment. Unfortunately, they're all gone, so I might have to go get some more. Anyhow, but eating a lot of crabs. But prawns, fantastic. Went up on Monday. We've got a heap of prawns up in the Logan. They've been sort of Carragara, Macleay, then Jackson's Hole, which is on the southern end of, northern end of Russell Island, northwestern corner. Then they're at the Power Lines, which is like the southwestern corner of Russell Island last weekend, and then they sort of disappeared, and then another batch is coming out the Logan River. Heaps of prawns, like heaps. Mixed sizes, reasonably sized to medium size. And yeah, we got about 15 litres the other day in about an hour and a half, and it was pouring down rain. But there's definitely lots of prawns around, and that was around where the prawn farm pipes are, both south and north side of there's two lots of pipes, north and south side of the Logan River. But please be careful of rocks on your nets, cast nets. I ripped mine the other day. I think everybody ripped theirs the other day. So just be really careful. So you get a bit of a prawn frenzy thing happening when they come on, and you tend to do suicidal casts where you know the rocks are, but the prawns are there, and you just can't help yourself but throw the net. So yeah, just look where the boats are, watch what's happening, and you'll see what's happening with prawning up the sort of southern end of Moreton Bay or northern end of the Gold Coast. That's probably it on the prawns, the crabs, and down on the beach further south, well, you just can't fish it this weekend, it's too big a swell. So you're limited to fishing in Talbudger Creek and Grumman Creek, so we're probably fishing for whiting, or getting out the back blocks where some of the lakes and that are, where they feed off the canals or off the main rivers there, and where the pipes come through, fishing that first to running tide early morning, which will be around about probably 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, or doing the same at night. Once the tide starts running in, the fish come to the pipe from the lake, and they'll feed big jacks, trevally, barracudas, and the whole works. So great fishing there with lures, soft glass sticks, hard bodies, poppers, stick boats, the works, and live baits as well. Tweed River, further down south, I have heard of a few flatties starting to show up around the back of the hospital area there. There's always whiting around the banks there, and further up towards Tumbulgum, where just on the southern side of Tumbulgum Bridge there, and crabs just all through the river. We've had plenty of rain, so it's pushed all the crabs out everywhere. So if you want to get some crabs, do that. Anyhow, good luck on that, and we'll catch you next week on the Estuary Report. Thank you very much.